The first joke is about a crew of Americans learning to parachute. A team of 25 of them were going under instructions, jumping from a plane. They'd done all the groundwork, how to fall and everything. So they took them up in a plane to 10,000 feet, and the instructor said, "I'm going to open the door. As I open the door, just file up. I shall pat you on the shoulder and jump out." Simple as that. You're on a static line, no cords to pull, nothing like that. And so he started off, the first one, patted him on the shoulder, and he said, "When you get clear of the plane, shout Geronimo." He says, "It's an old custom, we've done it for years." Number 2 went out, he tapped him on the shoulder, he jumped out, Geronimo. And when he got down to number 25, tapped him on the shoulder, jumped out, all clear. So he shut the door and told the pilot, "Go back to base, we'll pick up another lot." And I heard this banging and rattling on the side of the plane. So they thought, that's funny. So the instructor opened the door, and there was a Yank there, and he said, "What you say there, your name of that Indian guy was?" The next one got a naughty word at the end, so to avoid embarrassing anybody, I'll put my hands on my ears and we can get away with it that way. There was a master rock maker worked in a factory in Blackpool. He was really good at his job, but the factory employed a lot of women and he just didn't get on with women. He was always upsetting them, insulting them and one thing and another. And the upper management got a bit fed up with it. Every week there was a woman going crying, "He said this to me," and and so they gave him a warning. And they said, "Look here, do your job, treat the women as women, and we don't want this to occur again." But a fortnight later, there was another woman went crying, "Oh, he said this to me, he's upset me," and so they called him in. They said, "Look here, you're a good worker, we don't want to lose you. We already give you one warning, this is definitely your last chance." So about 3 weeks later, he'd upset somebody else, nothing sexual or anything like that. He just his attitude was all wrong. And so they called him into the office and they said, "Look here, I'm afraid you've got to go. You're just not compatible with our women's staff." And so they got rid of him. In his contract he wrote down that he couldn't be employed within a rock factory within 20 miles of the site where he worked at the moment, because when they got a good worker like that, they protected him, sort of thing. Anyway, he went to find another job at a factory about 25 miles away. The officer who was interviewing him for the job couldn't believe, when he read his report, he couldn't believe his luck in finding somebody that had got his skills, because he was a really first-class worker. And he thought it was too good to be true. So he phoned up the factory where he'd come from and said, "I've got a Mr. So-and-so here, he's applied for a job." He said, "He's worked for you for 25 years and he's done this, he's done that." And the fellow on the other end said, "Yeah, that's perfectly true. He's a really good worker, he's a good timekeeper and everything." And he said, "Well, why did you sack him if he's such a good worker?" And they said, he has a problem with women. His attitude towards women is all wrong. We employ a lot of women here. He was always upsetting someone. So, reluctantly, we had to get rid of him. So the other end said, oh, we've got no women workers here, so they'll be all right. And so it was agreed. And he said, all right, we'll give him the job. And the fellow of his previous employer said to him, but there is just one thing you should know. If ever you find it necessary for any reason to get rid of him, don't give him the usual fortnight's notice, because we're trying to get rid of 20 tons of rock with a hosel rod through.